welcome to episode number 7 of the Midwest Angler Podcast. I'm Matt Deitch, and I'm joined as always by Scott Sturman. Scott, how's it going?
Not too bad. How are you, Matt?
Oh, not too bad. Big week for you last week.
Oh, yeah.
Out on the honeymoon.
The honeymoon.
How was the cruise?
It was pretty good. Pretty good. We took off out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. We went to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, Nassau, Bahamas, and ended up in Miami. So, yeah,
Nice.
it was good. Good weather the whole entire time. No complaints. A lot of food.
Well, you got to have that.
Buffet busted every day.
That's right. Shut it down. Multiple plates.
Yep, doing what I do best.
Did you see anything cool? Any fishing adventures out there? Anything like that?
You know, on the ship the one day, me and Kayla went down to book excursions, and there was a couple fishing trips on there. We started inquiring about it. There was 5 spots left, and I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. And right as we were talking with them, it went down to only 1 spot. Kayla said, yeah, go ahead, and I wasn't going to leave her on the ship. I wasn't going to leave her in the Dominican Republic by herself, so no, better not. So
Yeah, probably better. Probably a good call.
it was pretty windy down there the whole entire time. The temperature was good, but it was pretty windy. Pretty big waves. I don't know if I would have wanted to be out there on a little boat, but
What kind of fishing trip, like what kind of fishing excursion would have it have been?
well,
Do you know?
they said that you could catch mahi,
Oh, okay.
that type of stuff. It didn't really go into big detail.
Yeah.
I guess personally, I didn't really care what we were catching. As long as we were catching.
Yeah.
We did in Punta Cana. We did go to this nature preserve, and we hiked through the rainforest there, and we got to these freshwater lagoons, and there was tilapia in the
I
lagoons.
saw those
and,
pictures that you sent. That
yeah,
was pretty
just
cool.
crystal clear water, and 12 foot deep. You could look right down, see them. I didn't realize they were tilapia, but our taxi driver actually ended up walking along with us. He couldn't speak any English really at all, but he said tilapia. I was like, hey, I
Hey, you
understand
got
that.
one. I know you're speaking my language now, but fishing is the universal language.
That's right.
You probably thought they were just monster bluegills because they kind of look pretty similar to a
They
bluegill.
do kind of look like a bluegill. They had a pretty wide head on them, but yeah, they really taper down pretty fast. Neat looking fish. They really didn't move a whole lot. All the ponds that we went to, there was like 12, 20, in a school, and we saw some turtles. That was cool, but yeah, that was about it as far as fishing went.
Yeah, imagine if you could have got a picture with one of those and you could have said, "Oh yeah, I caught this bluegill in Okoboji."
As we were sitting there, it was just like, golly, in this crystal clear water to sight fish these. If I had a little check eye jig.
Yeah, there you go with that. There you go with that sight fishing stuff.
I think
again,
I
with
think I could have
crystal
hammered
clear
them.
water.
Yeah,
If anybody could have, you could have with that check eye jig.
I would have tried.
We should have some here so we can show it to the camera
I
over
think we
there.
do. I
So,
think I've got a bag over there full of check eye
well,
jigs.
maybe we'll have to send our camera person Aubrey after him today.
The old tech crew over here.
Yeah, shout out to her.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, pretty good trip then.
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
pretty
good.
quiet. We went up to the cities this weekend. Went to a wild game, which they looked terrible. But so didn't get much fishing in. But Lake Pahoja had their little kids clinic this weekend, and it
Yep.
sounded like it was a pretty good turnout. I think they had 47 adults that brought 77 kids. So it's always nice to see. And
Yep. My coworker, my neighbor Jeremy, went over there. He said it was a good time. A little cold. They didn't bring a shack over there, but yeah, they said it was a good time. I borrowed on my Vexilars, and I think they thought it was pretty cool just to be able to see those fish come off the
Yeah.
bottom like that. And
I know I talked to some kids at school and some parents at school who I work with, and they said that their kids thought it was really neat. It was kind of fun yesterday at recess duty. I was out there with 3 kindergarten girls, and we were all talking ice fishing. And it was funny because the one was talking how frustrating it was because they had the camera down there, and the jig or the sunfish would come up to the jig, and it would just taste it. It wouldn't bite it. It just licked the jig, and then the one time it just grabbed the front of the jig, not the part where the hook is. And I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. I go, isn't that just so frustrating? And they're like, it was.
The struggle is real.
So yeah, it's always fun to talk to those guys about it. And I think the biggest bluegill that was caught over there was like 9 inches.
Nice
And,
bluegills.
I mean, it sounded like they caught a lot of fish. I mean, better than some years in the past
yeah.
where we went over there and nobody's caught a fish all day long.
Yeah, that. And they moved it to the evening this
Yeah,
year. And
which
that's
was-
that's
I think
always
was a
been the
big
best
thing.
bite over there.
Yeah, so that was going on. Looks like the lakes still fishing was pretty good over in that area.
They had
Iowa
a big
Great
tournament over there for
Yeah.
the North American Ice Fishing Circuit or whatever it is, and bluegills and crappies was the target species. It sounded like everyone did pretty good on that.
Yeah, it seemed like they had a good turnout for it, and always some cool pictures. It's always nice to have that social media just to kind of keep up with those
Oh, yeah.
things and get the
Yep.
reports. Looks like the perch bite on Spirit Lake is still going good, but you really got to sort. You got to move to find the big ones, and yeah, we'll talk about like the social media thing here in a little bit. But I saw a lot of people talking about how it seems like a lot of guys are keeping a lot of small ones and stuff, and it's one of those things.
It's hard, especially after you've been up to South Dakota and caught some of those tanks up there, to come back to Northwest Iowa and to catch what is considered a nice perch around here. It's just not the same. I don't know how big the perch are that they're keeping over there, 7-8 inches, something like that. I think are the ones that people are maybe frowning upon. But
Yeah. I think a good standard, a lot of times, I think people say, 9 and above when it comes to a perch is probably one of the better
yep,
keeper
and-
size fish
Yep.
there are. But, I mean, until they put slot limits in on them and length limits and stuff like that, I mean, to each their own. I mean, what is 25 they can keep, or is it, for perch, is it more than that?
I don't even know what the limit is on perch. I guess I've never got
Yeah, we
into
don't
such
really
a mess of perch over
Target
there.
them a whole lot when we're over there.
Yeah. Like I said, after you've been to South Dakota and caught the big perch up there, it's hard to come back here and really target perch.
Yeah, I mean, we've caught them before in open water when we're trolling for walleyes over at Silver Lake. And I mean, you'll
Those
catch
are-
a 12 or 13 inch perch. Every
Those are
once in a
some
while.
footballs over there.
I mean, we're sitting there thinking, wow, we're like, yeah, holy bucks, that's a monster perch. Don't lose this one. And like you said, and then all of a sudden we go out to South Dakota and, oh yeah, that's a 13-inch perch. Yeah, that's cool.
Yep, exactly.
And it's just the way they're, it's just different food base over there and different forage. So that's why they kind of grow bigger.
I really, to me, it would seem, they say like West Okoboji isn't the right type of water to support those freshwater shrimp up there. But a lake like Spirit Lake would seem to me like, that's really kind of similar to a Lake Poncet, isn't it?
Yeah, nice you say it. They kind of do lay out similar and stuff like that. And
Big lake, never gets so super deep. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what freshwater shrimp need in order to survive, but
yeah,
golly, I'm not going to take a 5-gallon bucket full of them and dump them in there. I'm not going to be the one
just make sure I'm
responsible for
not
that,
with
but-
you when you do that.
Right, yep.
I guess we just have to ask. We'll have to get in touch with the biologist and see what their thoughts are on it.
Yeah,
because
I
it'd
do
be
know a
interesting to
couple.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. On our last episode 6, we kind of put out there when we were doing it that night if anybody had any questions for us and anything like that. And we actually had a couple people ask us a couple good questions online. We had Blair Wilson ask us one, and Brady Grafin. Blair asked, "What's the fish you'd like on your wall the most? What's that one fish? It's like, oh yeah, if I ever catch that one, it's going on the wall."
I really think, probably both of us are about the same, 30-inch, 10-pound walleye.
Yeah.
30 and above, 10 and above. After Ramsey caught that 26, boy, just seeing that, I don't know if I would need 30. I really don't. I'm not saying, I don't know that I would do 26, but if I caught a tanker 28, especially through the ice.
Yeah. Well, my dad caught one the 1 year through the ice that was like 29 inches and it weighed like 9.5 pounds.
Let it go.
Yeah. It's not on the wall.
Well.
So
Yeah.
that was funny. That's another one of them fish stories where that was up on Thompson, Lake Thompson in South Dakota, and it's kind of the middle of the night, and Jig and Joe had kind of drifted off to a nice sleep, and we were all kind of out and about, and I'm walking over there to see if everything's all right because we haven't heard from him for a while, and figured he was sleeping. And I get in there and I open up the door, and he's sitting there with one rod in his hand and all the other rods like up in the air that he has, and his eyes are like that big staring at me, and he's got this walleye pinned against the hole, and he's just looking at me like, I'm like, so he had fallen asleep, and obviously it got on the line, and it had wrapped itself around all the other lines, and somehow he finagled it up there, and I think it had come off. No, it was still on one of the lines. So I said, I'm just going to open up the door and just throw it out here. So I open up the door, and here comes that 29-inch walleye, trailed by a few rods right behind it too. So
Wow.
yeah, that was kind of a fun. We didn't catch a lot of fish that weekend, but when you catch something like that, it really makes it
Oh, yeah.
memorable.
Yeah. No, I would have to say that mine would be 30-inch walleye. 30, that would be my...
Now, would you get a skin mount or would you go replica route? That's always the big thing now too. The question is, it's like everybody's always kind of like, would you go replica or would you do the skin mount? Now, for people that don't know, the difference between the skin mount is you keep the actual fish and you take care, put it in the freezer and all that, and bring it to the taxidermist, and they use that fish for the mount on the wall. With the replica, you take measurements, take pictures, and all that stuff, and you bring it to the all those to the taxidermist with the pictures, and he makes a mold. They have all kinds of molds for them, and then they kind of paint it to match the picture. And some of them those replicas, they get spot on with those fish.
Oh, very good.
And
very
then
good.
Then the fish, you get to release it for someone else to possibly catch, or for spawning reasons and stuff like that.
The sad part is just the cost difference on them.
It's
replicas.
a huge cost difference.
And especially when you're a lot of, for those of you that don't know, in the taxidermy world, you pay per inch on your mount, and when you're dealing with a 30-inch fish,
yeah,
a difference of $5,
it's huge.
that adds up in a hurry. And I don't know. There's a really cool part about letting a fish like that go, and I like that. I don't know.
And the one nice thing about it too, there's something to say, that's the fish.
Right.
Up on your wall when you do a skin mount. That's the one I actually call it. But now, with those replicas, they stay so nice. They don't, the fins don't chip.
Never age. Yep.
They don't really fade much from what I see.
Yep.
And
yeah, they've mastered it now.
Yeah.
I take it you would do a replica?
You know me. I'm a big replica guy. I'm a big catch and release guy, so I'd probably let it go.
Yep.
And then get the replica made, pay that extra
money,
because it still would probably be about the same price or even cheaper than my wife's deer mount that she got this last year. So
Yep. Yeah, you'd have mounted it too if you'd have shot it.
I know I would have.
No.
But no, everybody's got kind of like their different guidelines for different fish.
Yeah.
If I catch a fish this big, it's going to go in a while. Like, if I caught a smallmouth bass over 6 pounds, I would probably get a replica made of it.
Yeah, I'm a taxidermy guy. I really love it. As you can see, for those of you watching the videos behind,
Yeah.
got a bear mount, got a coyote fur, and got a deer there on the wall. I think that might be in the frame. A northern, a big bass, a walleye.
They look pretty cool down here.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd probably do about anything, really.
That's why we need anybody out there want to be friends that's a taxidermist. If you're a good taxidermist, give us a call. Come hang out with us. Give us a discount.
Yep, friends discount.
We'll keep
We're
you
in for
busy.
it. Yep.
We've talked about trying to get Ramsey to learn how to do taxidermy, but I don't know.
I don't know about that.
We get a lot of Texas-looking things up here. Who knows how it would turn out?
Yep.
But yeah, that was a pretty. I like that question. It kind of
that's
gets
a cool
you
one.
thinking
Yep.
and stuff like that.
Yep.
I think the next one's from Brady Grafing, and he said, if you could go fishing with anyone, alive or dead, who would it be?
Well, I think we've kind of touched on this a little bit before, but if it was ice fishing, I would definitely say it's got to be Dave Gens.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know, there's no significance to that. You know, I mean, it's not like, oh, he's an old buddy of mine. Just, you know, Dave Gens, the godfather of ice fishing. I would just like to be able to say, yeah, I hit the ice with him. You know, I feel like, you know, a guy with that much knowledge, just to, you know, probably sit and have coffee with him for 2 hours, you would learn more in that 2 hours, you know. And he's an old guy, you know, they're smart. They, you know.
Oh yeah, it's always fun just to sit back and listen to him talk.
Yep. But as far as an open water trip, I would definitely say my two grandpas. I'd enjoy going with them up like on a Canada trip. My grandpa used to go on Canada trips, and he would talk about making blueberry pancakes in the morning and
Probably
and
like
everything.
fresh blueberries that they
Oh
picked
yeah,
up
yeah.
there.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
the fresh ones, and I just think that would be a riot just to get up there. My grandpa Sturman, he's not much of a talker. Wasn't much of a talker. He passed away a few years ago, but you know, I think, and if I could have my brother and my dad along too, you know, I just think that we would have a really good time up there, and you know, get everyone relaxing, catching fish.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Hey, just the memories you make.
Yep.
You know, and the fish are just a bonus. Like
Yeah,
we've always
right,
talked about
right.
before.
Yeah,
It's about the adventure.
Yep, exactly. How about you?
You know, like I said before, anytime I get to go fishing with my grandpa Deitch, it's always a fun time. I mean, it'd be ridiculous to know the amount of fish that he's caught in his lifetime.
Yep.
I mean, the guy can catch them no matter where we go, no matter what we're fishing. It's just like, oh, okay, I didn't even realize that fish was in this lake, and oh yeah, I caught like 5 or 6 of them. It's like, oh, okay. You know, a couple years ago, my brother Brant and we got Grandpa out in my boat and went over to Silver Lake and did some trolling, and it's just fun, kind of watching the different techniques and stuff. I mean, he whooped us. We were just trolling. We had our rods in the rod holders, and he hated not having that fishing rod in his hand because, you know, just the feel for it. And he definitely outfished us just
Really?
because he could feel that hit and knew what to do. And
Well, Brant's not that good a fisherman.
well, Brant's
anyways,
not. I mean,
no.
that's pretty easy to outfish Brant. So I mean, we just brought him along, just bring him
Entertainment,
along.
someone to pick on.
Yeah, you know.
If you don't have Ramsey, you might as well have Brant.
So yeah, I'd have to, you know, my grandpa. I have a lot of good memories and trips that we've done in the past. We always used to go down to Okoboji and on New Year's Day and go ice fishing down there. And I can remember driving up to different lakes, and us boys would ride in the back end of his truck in the topper. You know, he had a cushion with a piece of plywood back there, and we ride back there the whole way. Now if that would happen, people
you'd
would
get pulled
over
over
and
and
child
child abuse.
endangerment,
Yeah.
endangerment and all this stuff. But I mean, we'd ride 3 or 4 hours in the back and not think anything of it, you know. So yeah, that would probably be who I would say
Yep.
right there.
No, good call.
Yeah. Now, you know, we said we were going to talk a little, touch base on, like, you know, the big thing now is like with social media and with the fishing world and everything like that, and the impact, both positive and negative.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, it goes. There's good things about social media and fishing, and there's bad things. You know, all of a sudden people are getting on a hot bite and they're taking pictures, and a lot of people get really upset about that and are just like, oh, don't be shinning, you're going to ruin the spot and stuff like that. What do you think about those? What do you think about that? What's your take on social media with, like, the fishing world now and the effect it's had on it?
You know me. I post a lot of pictures on
We're
Facebook.
both on social media a lot.
Yep. I'm not afraid to tell somebody where I was fishing. You know, for me, I think about bluegill fishing or yellow bass fishing over on Okoboji. I don't care if I went and told it on the mountain, you know, my exact coordinates, exactly what I'm catching on what I'm using for bait. I don't think that you'd ever outfish some, or, you know, overfish a lake like that. You know, the yellow bass, they reproduce so fast. There's so many of them over there. Bluegills, you know, you look at Miller's Bay, how many bluegills must get pulled out of there on a good weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy number.
But the thing about it is, you know, I could post all that. The next day you could go there and it
not
just
catch
might
anything.
not be working.
You know, you say something like that, and I don't know if you've been watching some of these angling buzz videos that they put out on YouTube, and they talk to all these pros like Jason Mitchell, Dave
Oh, yep,
Gans.
yep. I
Have
know
you
what
been?
you're talking about.
And they were talking. They covered this subject a little bit on there, and it was interesting to see. One of them says, I don't know if it was Jason Mitchell or if it was Dave Gans. I can't remember who it was, but they said usually, when you find out the information on social media,
You're a day late.
It's old information.
Exactly.
So it goes along exactly with what you said there. I mean, just because I caught him here today doesn't mean somebody's going to go back over there and they're going to jump in the bucket.
When we've had that, I mean, we've had it plenty of times. Just for instance, I'm thinking last year when I went up with those guys up to Lake Ponset, we hammered the perch. One day, we went back to the exact same spot. The next day, I mean, I drilled a hole right next to where I literally caught 75 perch the day before, and it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
You have that same thing over at Okoboji. The fish might still be there, maybe, with different pressure systems or whatever plays a factor into that. They just might not be biting as well as what they were the day before. I personally don't think it's an issue. I know that there's a lot of people that'll disagree with me. You see it a lot with one of the bait shops over at Okoboji that they post a lot of pictures and information on their Facebook page, and I know a lot of people get really upset that they're posting that type of information. I don't personally think it's a big deal.
Well, no, because you got to look at it from their point of view. They want to, show how well the fish are biting over there,
Right?
because
it's a
that's their
business.
business. I mean, it's
Exactly.
just like they got to figure out how to get people into the store. I mean, a lot of times they're not going to give you everything online. They'll just say, oh yeah, we're catching them and stuff like that. For like, in depth, information, stop into the shop.
Right.
And then, and they try, I think, to the best of their ability to put people in the right direction. But I think some people sometimes get in their mind, like, I'm going to go to that bait shop and I'm going to, buy some bait there or spend some money there. And they're going to they need to tell me exactly where to go and what everybody's using. And
Right.
it's like, no, they're going to put you in the general direction.
Right. It's not a guide service.
Yeah, you still.
Yep.
Gotta be
we
able to
we can
catch
tell
the
you
fish.
that, the people that we've been talking to are catching bluegills on this jig with spikes and waxworms or plastics, on Triboji, on West Lake Okoboji. From there, you got to do the work yourself.
Well, definitely. I mean, you say, 16 to 18 foot of water. In all reality, that's a wide spectrum right there, because
definitely.
there's a lot of 16 to 18 foot water in a body of water.
Yep.
It's like, so you gotta, it gets you in the right area to be fishing and stuff like that, but you might get out there and be like, man, we're not catching anything. Scott and Matt, they don't know anything they're talking about. They gave us all kinds of bad information. Well, you know what? Today you might actually have to move up to 13 foot of water, or you might have to move out to 20 foot of water.
Yep. It does. Sometimes I worry about a lake like Lake Pahoja, especially with the size class of fish that's over there, that, if you happen to get 30, 40 guys that go over to a lake like that, and they really do get on them, and they all keep a limit, that is a big chunk of a population on a lake like that. I did talk to Greg Harson, the DNR officer here in Lyon County, and I asked him what he thought, and he said, Scott, you'll never be able to outfish or overfish that lake. I know he's got more knowledge than I do, so
Yeah, I think that us as fishermen sometimes we get worried about that stuff and nervous. Then all of a sudden, like the next year, we're not catching as big a fish, and all of a sudden it's just like they
overfished them last
They
year.
overfished it.
Yep.
And there is some things like that to be worried about and everything. But yeah, it's going to take a lot, and I don't know. Sometimes it's not social media people that are the worst. It's the people that go every single day back over there, and they catch a limit every single day that they're over there, because no possession limit on things sometimes, and
Yep.
every day. But then they're the ones that get mad at people for getting online. I saw a video today I was watching one, and there was some guys that were shooting a YouTube video somewhere, and it was early ice because they weren't on about 3 inches of ice, and they're out there, and they got their GoPros mounted to them, and they have a tripod, and they're like doing a little thing for their YouTube channel, and you can hear old guys, or not old guys, some guys in the back, like, are you gonna put that bleeping stuff on YouTube? Have the whole country out here? This is our secret. You're gonna make the fish get, the spot get outfished and all this stuff. And it's kind of interesting. And those guys were kind of like, oh, geez, they were kind of nervous, but they're like, we're gonna keep filming it. It's like nothing they can do about it.
Right.
But it's just like by the time they put it on YouTube, I mean, like I said, this was looking like early ice, so probably 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, most people aren't going to venture out there onto early ice.
No.
There's a lot of people that need 6 inches before they feel comfortable going out there. That's one. Two, like we said, the next day you could go out there to the exact same spot with the exact same bait, and it just doesn't work out the way you think it's going to.
I think people's biggest gripe about that isn't sometimes just about the fishing. It's just that they don't get their parking spot. Now I gotta walk a ways.
In today's world, it seems like people are willing to complain about anything. Yeah, it could be something as simple as that.
So yeah, it's definitely changed. But like you said, it's also changed for the good. I mean, you can make a lot of connections with other fishermen. I mean, the network is huge on this stuff. There's all kinds of information out there. If you want to learn a technique, somebody says, yeah, I know, I'll say bass fishing. Oh yeah, we've been really doing good catching them on a drop shot. For a lot of people, it's like a drop shot. What's a drop shot? Well, all of a sudden you get on there and you're like, hey, I'm new to bass fishing, looking at fishing the drop shot rig, and 99% of the time, the people on there are going to be like, oh, this is how I tie it and stuff like that. You're always going to have the 1% that's always just like, oh, then why are you even fishing if you don't even know what that is? Well, we all learn somewhere, and it's nice to, bounce off ideas and questions to other people out there.
You'll be amazed at what you can find on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the videos are endless on YouTube. If you want to know anything, if you want to know how to put something together, rig something up, YouTube is the place to go. You will find it.
Yeah, and then not only that, you think about, you were just talking about somebody going on the Facebook Marketplace and buying something.
Yep.
I mean, look at all the equipment that's out there that you would have never known. I mean, nobody's going to put stuff in the newspaper for sale, and you're going to look for, hey, I got this flasher for sale. Put it on, Facebook or Craigslist or something like that, and pretty soon you're able to sell stuff. You're able to buy stuff online and get better deals sometimes than if you didn't want to go out there and buy it brand new.
Yep, that's exactly right. I think social media is a great tool. I think generally most of the people are helpful. I wrote an article about this, and I posted it on the MidwestAngler.com.
Brand new
TheMidwestAngler.com. I wrote an article about this. Go and check it out if you get a chance. And yeah, it touches base on exactly what we're talking about here.
Exactly. We can't give the whole article away here. We gotta get you some traffic to that website.
Yeah. I can read it. I'm not that good a reader. I'm not that good a reader.
We get up here and feel like you're back in school in speech class.
Yeah.
Dog.
I struggle. I struggle enough with this podcast deal. I'm not going to read an article on here.
Deep thoughts with Scott Sturman.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, looking towards this weekend, looks like it's going to be kind of a cold one.
Yeah.
On Saturday, Sunday, I didn't think it was supposed to be too terribly bad.
I didn't pay attention to Sundays.
Supposed to get some snow maybe Friday night.
That's right. So. We've got basketball tournaments again this week on Saturday, so I definitely won't be fishing on Saturday. Maybe Sunday if the weather's looking good. Maybe we'll sneak out and go somewhere.
Yeah, we're getting geared up. You got our cabin booked for out in the Black Hills here in a couple weekends.
Yeah. Looking into the future.
Yeah.
2019. Matt, what are some of your goals for 2019?
Goals for 2019. I could go with the easy one and be like, oh, I want to fish more. I really want to get better at multiple techniques for walleye. That's something I'm really trying to focus on this spring into the summer and stuff like that. I'm trying to make myself a better overall walleye fisherman. Figure out different techniques. I have planer boards. I've had them for a couple years now. I don't think I've used them yet. And there's some guys that's all they do is pull planer boards.
Yep.
I'm not going to put a jig rod down. I'm always going to be throwing a jig in a plastic for walleyes, but yeah, I kind of want to get a little bit overall better at walleye fishing. Start doing some more lead core pulling and stuff like that. So I mean, if I want to get in, try some tournaments sometime,
Yep.
so that's kind of like that's one of my big goals for this summer. And then also target some other species.
Yep.
We didn't get on a muskie trip last year. I'd like to get up, do another muskie trip someday. So yeah, that's kind of what mine are. How about yours?
Yeah, that last one is definitely mine. I want to catch species of fish that I've never caught before. Like you said, muskie is definitely something. There's just something special about muskie fishing. I'm on a lot of muskie Facebook pages. I see those fish, and it's just like, oh, I want that so bad. I don't even care if it's small. I want to catch a muskie, and I'd like to catch a trout. Hopefully
Hopefully
next weekend
couple
we'll get that accomplished. Going out to the Black Hills, me, Matt, my brother Eric, and Dusty Ramsey are heading out there. Got the cabin booked today. Hopefully, even a rainbow trout. I'm not picky on a trout, but I just want to, I want to catch species that I haven't. I want to fish in spots that I haven't fished before. I'd really like to take a trip up to northern Minnesota.
Yeah.
See places I haven't seen before. That's probably my goal for 2019 is catch fish I haven't ever caught before and fish in spots I've never fished before.
Yeah, kind of. We always got to challenge ourselves to push it out of our comfort zone and go
Yep.
out and try different things.
Yeah, last year, when those guys invited me to Ponset, I was dead set. Oh, I can't go to Ponset. I don't know how to fish Ponset. I'm a bluegill jigger. I don't have a spot up there in Ponset going after walleyes and perch. And we did great. Now, that's all I always think about, going back up
Wanna
there to
get it back
Ponset,
up there.
catching more jumbos. That's what I want to do. And yeah, before that, I would have never thought that I would have enjoyed that trip as much as what I did. And I've been up there multiple times since. I want to go back up again.
Yeah, it's that time of the year where you start looking, what the outlook of the year is going to look like. I definitely want to do more fall fishing too.
Yep.
I always get busy. School starts back up and football and everything like that. And then some of the hunting seasons open up and I always kind of forget about fall fishing. And I
Yep.
definitely want to do more of that this year as well.
Yep. No, otherwise, yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, nothing much to cover. Make sure that you're checking us out on all the social media Instagram, Facebook, now the Midwest Angler website.
Yep. TheMidwestAngler.com. We've got some pictures on there. I'm hopefully going to get into writing maybe one article a week. Matt, I don't know if that's
Yeah.
something that you want to dabble into, but
Getting
we'll be
homework
posting.
already. Holy buckets, Steve.
Yeah,
Giving me
exactly.
homework.
I
What
was
if my
on the-
dog eats it?
I was on the computer writing that, and Aubrey came downstairs and she says, "Are you writing an essay?" Yeah, something kind of like that.
Oh, Mr. Snyder must have her writing essays right
Yeah.
now. So.
Oh, Mr. Snyder.
Yeah. You better watch out. He'll bring you in there and have you write stuff for his class. You'll be writing his lesson plans pretty soon.
I'll do that. We'll be teaching fishing.
Yeah. So, yeah. Check out all of our, where are we all available? SoundCloud, iTunes.
SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and then
Yep, YouTube. Hey, like we said, the video last week, we got a lot of views and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I think
appreciate people watching.
I think people liked it, and yep, we're videoing this one too. So yeah, hopefully that's a new thing that we'll get into and
Keep on going.
be a lot of fun. Alrighty.